I know y'all see the expiration date on that say 2050, right? As long as she was a Wake County administrator. I don't get it, man. People have hidden agendas, and they'll use you sometimes and try to convince other people that they have to do for you, and they don't. That wouldn't be none of the situation I'm in. But people realize, even when I started my own business, actually before my son was born, the amount of money that I had accumulated, saved up. I've been doing air conditioning and heat since I was 13, but I've been working on cars, oil changes, brakes, head gasket repairs, anything on a car. Probably since I was 8, I could build a Chevy small block. By the time I was 10, I was working at T&K Automotive when I was in high school. That was for my internship. So there was nothing about a car a person can't tell me about. OBD 1 and 2. And the carburetor, you can't tell me. I know them all. I had an honest business. I was putting lift kits on cars, sound systems in cars, TVs in the headrests, sound systems. But when the family around me realized I had a certain type of money saved up, they found a way to swindle it out of me. My great-grandmother got sick, and I went and stayed at her house in Speed, which is probably from Raleigh, was about 60 miles, 66 miles. I wasn't making that much money at that job at that time, but I had enough money saved that I was able to still stay afloat. People were trying to keep you distracted so they can be in your resources. That house wasn't mine down there. That was my great-grandmother's house. My father, he had a piece of property in the woods, a barn that he was staying in at the time. So I was trying to really build a relationship with my father because I didn't know him. 2012, I would say 2011, I met my son's mother outside of Wilson, Sharpsburg area. And she had a trailer. She stayed in that trailer. I stayed in that trailer with her for about a year, 2 years, off and on. And I was helping her with her. She at that time she just had a lot rent to pay on that because the trailer was paid for. $200 a week. And then when her other son came, he was staying with a lady named Pam down the street. I was paying Pam, I think, $50 a week just for him to stay down there so she would have extra groceries in her house. I spent a lot of money. My mother had another piece of property in Wilson. She bought a lot. It had 2 houses on it and a barn, plus her church in Wilson. So I spent a lot of time going between multiple different houses, trying to help the family's property stay up. And it was somewhat costing me. But I still, when my son was born, I could have retired. But I spent majority of my money making sure my son was happy. And daycare, baby formula, health care. I didn't have any help on that. He's 11 now. I spent over $220,000 out of my own savings before he was 8. Still trying to run the business that I had. And in 2019, after me and my fiance be separated, I qualified for a house in downtown Clayton off of Main Street. My mortgage was only gonna be $900 a month. My mother told me, she's like, don't rush into nothing. COVID might come. It affected my business in 2021 because my father he jumped on me and attacked me first. And I called. I still have the 911 report. And they left. He jumped on me first in front of my son. I was asleep. He jumped on me while I was asleep in front of my son. And I called 911. And they came to the house and they left. And that second time when my father, before he was getting ready to jump on me, he was trying to grab my son. And I was not going to allow him to grab my son. And it escalated, and me and him got into it in front of my son. And they came between me with false accusations, allegations, and they came between me and my son. They tried to separate us. My father's been trying to separate me and my son since he was a youngin'. And I refuse to allow that to happen anymore. Um, because it's somebody, sometimes I feel like people have a hidden agenda or they don't want me to know the truth. They will not allow me to do a DNA test because I signed a birth certificate. And at this point right now, I haven't spent so much money and time. I just want him to know that he has the perfect foundation in life, which is a strong spiritual structure in the Word of God. I want him to know that inside and out because he's going to need that in life. Um, we doing the best we can, but it's like, man, family will make you out to look like a monster to other people. They try to push their narrative or their agenda. They don't want you to get too far out of their control to where you make them look bad. This is my way of voicing not only my thoughts, but the truth. There's two sides to every story, but people usually never hear the other side because people that either try to isolate them or try to keep another person busy and distracted. Um, my mother, like I say, when she was about to lose that house in Garner, I gave her the money for it. She gave me the insurance policy. My stepfather was laid off from Fleet Pride he was working at the time. They shut down. So he was going through he was restructuring himself. He was going to get, I think he was going to truck driving school or something. He was being a mechanic. He was still driving for News and Observer, I believe. But she told me to hold on to the insurance policy. And when she got sick towards the end, at one point she was that house. She asked me and the female I was talking to, Candace. She wanted to know if me and Candace wanted that house. But I knew that was going to be an issue. I said, no, I didn't want the house. I just want what's mine. My sister is the main one who wanted that house. Her whole agenda is when she got in the real estate market. That's all my sister's been doing is helping people sell the houses within the family. That's all she's been doing. People try to make you look bad to make themselves look good. When I got married, when people didn't have that easy access to me, they forced themselves around me. It's like they have that narcissistic mentality. They're so used to dysfunction to where it seems normal to them. Every time I got in a relationship and I got out of reach where my father couldn't reach me, it's almost like, man, he came in between every relationship I was with. I don't understand that, yo. As long as he can see me control, he's fine. But let me get out of reach. Let me get in a relationship with somebody else. He tries to come between that. He tries to tear down everything that me and my son have built together. Like even when it comes out of this house, me and my son and my fiance, we were in this house. My fiance towards the end didn't even want my father in this house because I remember one Father's Day, my mother and my stepfather came down to the house, and my mother didn't want my father to come in the house. He drove from Tarboro to Rocky Mount, and I wouldn't let him in the house because my mother was acting like she was afraid. She didn't want him in the house. And my stepfather was there, so I didn't. So when my fiance passed, my father knew once he got the house in his name, he would have more control. But it's strange that he would want to try to be in that situation, knowing my father lived with me for almost 2.5, 3 years and didn't have to pay nothing because he said he was going to be here to help watch my son. But after that Father's Day, when I didn't let him in, my mother had to drive down and start watching my son so my fiance could finish schooling. Family is overrated. Sometimes they'll get close to you only to try to get what you have and claim it as their own. My father didn't have a house. My father was staying he had a lot in the woods. Me and my fiance had this house, but when my father got this house, he started changing documents and started wanting to tear it down because in his mind, my father wants that barn that he had in the woods remodeled like a house, but he's at almost 80 years old. Instead of trying to leave a legacy of wrong, yeah, I don't know. I can say everything he's done He connived and schemed, plotted and schemed, and tricked people out of their certain positions. But people fell for that. Life is not a game. It's not a game. It's not a joke because people have real feelings. And I don't know, yo. It's sad to see how some of the older generation play more games than the young ones. And that's why I believe, like, even in politics in the Rocky Mount area, a lot of it's stagnant. It's not no growth, no development, because you still have a lot of some of the older ones that are in certain political positions that haven't stepped down from their leadership roles. They don't embrace change. They don't allow outsiders to come in with new ideas. But the only way for history to be made is for a change. You can't repeat the same cycles over and over again from 50 years ago and expect to get any different results than what they've been getting. And it's sad, Joe. But I'm just venting this morning. I got other paperwork I got to work on. I have stuff. I got the bills and file. I got to put away invoices for my business. And I'll do that here shortly. Like I said, I just wanted to vent this morning. I encourage y'all, get into your word. Feed your spirit, man. Feed your natural. Y'all be blessed. Be encouraged.